Hey guys, it's Carly at Let's Bead. Welcome to our Sunday night project and hope you're having a good weekend. So I'm all set up here and just about ready to go. If you're new to the group, welcome. We are, if you're not familiar with Let's Bead, we're a bead store in East Rochester, New York. And if you're new to the group, every Sunday night I do a video at 8 o'clock Eastern time and using materials that we have in the store. And so tonight I'm featuring a piece. I started with this pendant by Heather Powers, and I started with this and some new chain that we got in. And this new chain had some flowers on it, so I thought it would be the perfect combination. So that's what I'm going to use. I'm just getting my tablet set here, so bear with me a second, and then we'll go ahead and get started. And but I thought this project would be fun, and as you guys know, or if you're new to the group, I don't do the design completely in advance, so I design during the video so that you can, see the process, and, it's kind of what you experience when you're making jewelry in your own studio or at home. So I do it along with you guys and get your opinion. Hi, Dawn. Thanks for joining. And my tablet is being very slow. So, okay. So I'm just going to kind of go over the materials I have. And again, because I'm designing on the fly, we may or may not use all of it. So, okay. So like I said, I'm starting with this pendant by Heather Powers. It's teal on the back. Isn't that pretty? And then we have this copper chain. Now, you guys know I like to take copper chain, and when I look at chain, I'm always looking, how can I use it differently? And I like to cut it up and use it for earrings, and, use part of the components of it. So this, I'll have a lot of options with. It'll be great for earrings and using it in this necklace. So, and if I have time tonight, and the necklace doesn't take too long, I'm going to make some matching earrings to go with it, if you guys are interested in seeing that. So, so what I have is, we've got the chain. I have these twisted jump rings that I might use, and I got those from the Kazuri trunk show that we just had. They were on the table with all the beautiful Kazuri beads. And the stones I have mookaite, and I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you can see it. But it's so pretty. And so mustard is in right now. It's very popular at the moment. And so I pulled out the darker mustard beads to go with the pendant. But mookaite is gorgeous. Look at all the colors in this. And we have a lot of options at the store for mookaite. So you can, we have different shapes and sizes. And so I'm just going to close my, I'm trying to connect to the group, and the tablet is acting up. So I'm getting out of it and I'm going back in. So bear with me just a second here. All right. So in my live video, I may have to read the comments from my phone as we're doing it, because it's not playing nice. All right, well, we'll deal with that. So the other thing I have, spacers that I've added, and let me just know which ones I'm going to use, or maybe I'm going to use multiple, but I've got these handy just in case. I also have these twisted jump rings that are a little bit smaller than the first ones I showed you, just in case I might need those. Then I have one of my favorite stones, apatite, because I wanted to pull in the teal from the back of the pendant. So I thought that that would be you know, a good option. So I've got some apatite, and then I have some suede that I thought I would use on the back part. So we've got that. And if you're looking for ways to store stuff like this, I just put it on my business card and store it. It keeps it from, you know, getting tied up, and stores it well. So, all right. I'm just restarting my tablet here. Bear with me. There we go. What else do I have here? I have a couple, some niobium ear wires in case I have time to make the earrings. I've got some 20 gauge antique copper wire, and I've got some soft flex or metallic soft flex. I'm doing it in this color so that if it shows, it'll kind of blend in. And I wasn't sure if I was going to use a toggle or a lobster clasp, so I have both of those handy. And I have a little bit of glue because I may need that. And then I have a selection of jump rings here, and some crimps, and some head pins, just in case I need those. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And I restarted my tablet, so I'm just going back into the group. I apologize for that. It just didn't want to, it was connected when I started, and then it decided not to be. All right. See if it shows. There we go. Now I can see the video. All right. So this, let me get some of these things out of the way. I'm going to keep some of these darker beads out. Okay, and I'm going to cut the apatite so I can get some of these off. All right, and if you have any suggestions as we go on, you know, putting this together, don't be shy. I welcome any feedback that you might have. And all right. Lower this so I can see a little bit better at what I'm doing. There we go. Okay. And if you're watching, say hello. Tell me where you're watching from. Always like to know that. All right. And with this chain, it's got jump rings on it, so you just, you know, if you want to take sections off, you just open the jump ring and remove it. So there's no waste, which makes it nice. So I was thinking we can either string some of the mookaite here in the front section of the pendant, and then add a section of chain, and then put the suede on the back. Hi, okay, so Dawn's in East Rochester, and Christine, what are the turquoise beads again? These are called apatite, and it's A-P-A-T-I-T-E, and they are round, and they're also faceted. You see how they sparkle from the faceting? Apatite's one of my favorite stones. I'm sure you guys aren't surprised because you guys know how I like teals. All right. And we have Christine is in Syracuse, and you just learned about us from the Central New York Bead Society. Oh, that's awesome. And Carol's watching from Wayland. Awesome. All right, welcome you guys. So excited to have you here, and this is going to be a fun project. So what I'm going to do, oh, you're welcome, Christine. is sometimes to get started, if I'm not sure about how I want to do it or if I'm going to put the stones in the front, I'll just start to string a little bit and kind of lay them there and then visualize how it might look and then decide. So if you have suggestions, again, don't be shy. All right, so let's start with, and I want to mix in some of the apatite. So let's start with one of the apatite. All right. And then I'm going to put on maybe a tiny spacer. I may have to switch to my other glasses so I can see, which usually happens during the videos. I don't know why I just don't start out with them. All right. Christine, and who doesn't love Heather Powers, right? I love her work. I love her work. She's amazing. Okay. Oh, see how pretty they go together? There, now it's focusing. Okay. And then I'm going to put and it's raining out here, but guess the rain will bring some pretty flowers for us. So that's all right. All right. I'm giving in, switching to my other glasses. Oh, I'm in denial that my eyes are changed. Anybody do anything fun this weekend? I taught a couple ladies a class. We worked on some chainmail and a bracelet, so that was fun at the store. Yeah, that's pretty. Okay. So then we're going to mix in some more of the mookaite. You know, people are trying to get their, like to get their planting and yard work and stuff done if the weather cooperates, but it hasn't been the most cooperative lately. You went to the Avon flea market. Wasn't today the or this weekend the opening weekend for it? I heard that it was really busy. That sounds like a fun thing to do. I would enjoy that. I haven't been to that one in years, but all right. So let's see. And I think that's going to tie in nicely. Just trying to think of what I want in the middle where the pendant's going to hang. I might just do extra of the mookaite stones and not put the crystals there. So let's try that. We'll even put in a couple of the darker colored ones. I think this is actually the... I've always liked mookaite, but I think this is actually the first time I've ever made something with it. So, all right. Did anybody make any jewelry this weekend? Yes, swamped with people and muddy. I did hear it was muddy. I did hear that the conditions weren't the best. So, but Hopefully the warmer weather will be cooperating soon. I think I'm going to have just enough of those mustard colored beads to do this. Perfect. All right. What do you guys think of this chain? You like this new chain that we got? We have some other styles too, so definitely check it out. And they're sold like in a this was all connected in one big loop, you know, so you get quite a bit of it. And yeah, check it out. It's hanging near the chain section. Christine says, I'm working on a bracelet from a class last weekend from the Innovative Bead Show here in Syracuse. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. All right, so I got 2 of those, and now I'm going to switch back to the apatite. All right. It's a chenille stitch bracelet. Ooh, very nice. Barb teaches a bracelet with that chenille stitch, and it's called I think it's called It's Not Your Grandmother's Chenille. Barb always comes up with the best names for her classes. She's always so creative with that. All right. So I need another spacer. And these spacers here that I'm using, they're just the tiny daisy spacers. They're great with a lot of things. All right, almost done. Another apatite. And a spacer. All right. Oops, gotta move this up so you can see the pendant. All right. What do you think so far? You like those strung in the front? Give me some thumbs up if you like it. All right. So, and I'm not going to use I'm just going to use a little bit of the chain so that I can see the suede in the back. So I'm going to disconnect one. So you can see that it's got the jump ring links. So I'm just going to open up the jump ring. And I'm going to pop off a section of the chain. I'm going to close the jump ring back up because you can reuse those on the next project or with something else. All right. And I might even use a shorter piece. All right. Yeah. So I'm going to take off one more section here. That's what's great about the chain, is when you change your mind, you're not wasting any of it, you know. I can just reconnect it. And this one I'll probably just leave off anyway, because it'll be used for earring. Alright, so I need one of my clamps and my measuring tape. So I'm just going to use one of these bead clamps, and it's just going to stop the beads from sliding off. And then I'm going to grab my cutters. I'm just going to trim the soft flex, and then we'll get that out of the way. Okay. So I'm going to go from this side. I want to put on a crimp. And then I'm going to grab crimp covers, so I have those out and handy. And I'm going to use, the crimps I'm using are, 2x2s. And the crimp covers I'm using are 4mm. You can use the 3mm with the 2x2s and the 4mm. I use the 4mm just because they're bigger and they're easier to work with, but you can definitely use the smaller. Alright, so I put my crimp on. And then I'm going to run the wire over the chain where I want to connect it. And then I'm going to run the wire back through the crimp. If the wire is small enough, I would run it back through the apatite bead, but the holes in the stone are not big enough for me to do that. So I'm just going to go back through the crimp if it lets me. Alright, there we go. And snug it up. And you don't want to do it, you know, too tight. You want to make sure that, you know, you can move and it's not gonna, you don't want the stones to kink. And you want this to be able to move, you know, comfortably on the ring. So I'm happy with that. All right, so if you haven't crimped before, I'm going to show you. These are the crimping pliers, and you see how there's the first hole is round, and then the second hole is kind of like a smiley face. I'm going to put the crimp in the smiley face hole first, okay? And when you do it, you want to make sure that the wire, the two pieces of wire are side by side. They're not sideways on top of one another. And this is what's going to make it secure. So make sure they're side by side. And if you can see how I've got them in the hole, in that second hole, they're flat, and I'm just going to give it a squeeze. And working with copper, it's, you know, pretty soft, so it works easily. So see how I put that indent in there? So now I'm going to put it on its side, the indent, so it's kind of like a C. And I'm going to put it in that first hole on its side. Let me see if I can get an angle here where you can tell. But you can kind of see there where it's sideways. And then I'm going to give it another squeeze. And make sure you take your time and make sure it's in the spot correctly, because you only get one chance. Alright, and so then I'm going to give it a good squeeze. So see how it folded it in half? Okay. And so now I'm going to go ahead and trim that excess piece. And you're going to use the flat side of the cutters towards your work. And these cutters I use just for my soft flex. I don't use them with wire or anything else. Okay. So I have one end connected. Now, I don't think the beads are big enough to run this through, but that's okay because I put an open jump ring on here, so I'm just going to open that and connect it after the fact. But I do need another section of chain to do the other side. So we're going to remove this flower. I'm just opening the jump ring, and then I'm closing it. And when you open a jump ring, you're not, pulling apart. It's just a twisting motion to open, and then you go back and forth to close to secure it. All right. So I just have 2 of these loops and 1 flower. So I'm going to remove right here. Just going to pop that off. All right. And then I think I'm done with that for a little bit. And then I can take my bead clamp off. Or they're called, we call them bead stoppers, is the appropriate term for them. But it's like a little spring. They work great. Instead, then you don't have to tape your wire to keep things on. All right, so I put my crimp on, right? And then I'm going to go through the chain. Make sure you've got the chain going the same, that it's face up, going the same direction as the other side. And I'm going to go back through the crimp, feeding it back through. And on the other side, I didn't have a daisy spacer on the end, so I'm going to take that daisy spacer off so it ends with the bead and then goes to the crimp. Christine says those bead stoppers are awesome. Yeah, and they're I have some smaller ones too I can show you. So they come in these, larger sizes, and then we have these little ones. These little baby ones. So, depending on your project, but they work great. All right. Carol says, is the flower the same on both sides? Do you mean the flower on the chain? Oh, no. My beads just slid off. That's why you need the bead stoppers. Okay. So the flower on the chain, it slid down on my beads. Get back up there. Okay. So the chain, the flower is this side, and then the back side is different. It's the back. So it is a little bit different. And so let me string this back up. I need a spacer. The copper flower, yeah. Yeah, it's different on the back side than the front. So there's definitely a front and back to it. One, two. How did I do that? 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Must have dropped on a piece of apatite. I'll have to find that afterwards, but I will pull another one in. spacer. Another bead. One, two, one, two, one, two. I must have dropped. Oh no, I didn't drop any mookaite. Okay. It's back on quick. Okay, so now I'm adding my crimp. And going back to my chain. Hi, Heather. Oh, no problem. Thanks for joining us. So we're just really getting started. We've got we're doing a little bit of stringing here, so but we're excited to have you here. That's awesome. All right, so I'm pulling the wire back through. I'm loving the necklace. Oh, thanks. Thanks. Okay. So again, you guys, I don't want to get the beads, you know, too tight. Want to make sure it's, you know, feels flexible. All right. And I can see I've got some space, extra space here, so I need to move that crimp down just a little bit and secure it up. And I'm going to be using crimp covers, so those will take up a little bit of space as well, so keep that in mind. You'll want to have room for those. All right, so we're going to crimp again. And so like I showed before, you've got the two holes. I'm going to put it in the second hole, the smiley face. I want the wire side by side, not on top of each other. So can you see the loop is flat? Christine, yes, that is the Heather Powers that joined us. Heather, we were just talking about you and how much we love your work. All right, so you can see the indent that made. So now I'm just going to turn that sideways, that C. I'm going to put it in the first hole, make sure I've got it in the right spot, and then fold in half. And then I'm going to trim the excess, putting the flat side towards my work. And I like to, you know, kind of give it a little bit of attention, a little bit of tension, and get as close to that crimp, you know, so I'm kind of pulling so that there's no gaps. All right. So that part is done. And while I've got this and it's nice and doesn't have everything connected to it, I'm going to go ahead and put the crimps on. Heather says you guys are going to give me a big head. Well, you have some fans here, Heather. All right. So I'm going to put the crimp cover on now while I don't have a lot going on with the necklace. So with the crimp covers, I like to try to put the seam towards the back so that you don't see it. So this necklace obviously does have a front and back. This is the front with the flower. So I'm going to just put that crimp cover. I just slid it over the front, right? That's the front side. And I'm holding it in place with my thumb. And then I'm going to use my chain nose pliers to gently close it. And I don't have to do it all in one motion, but I'm just going to gently just kind of give it a pinch. And then I'm going to pinch again till I get it shut. And sometimes when you do that, you'll get like a little bit of a lip, or you can see that little gap. So sometimes I'll take my pliers and push down a little bit on the top. and then close. And so now from the front, it looks like a bead. All right, so we got that one done. So let's go ahead and put the other one on. So again, this is the front. And I'm going to take that crimp cover. I don't know if I showed you what they look like up close, but it looks like a C. So I'm going to take that, put it over the crimp. And again, the ones I'm using are 4mm. You can use 3mm, so they're a little bit smaller. I like using the larger ones just because they're easier. And then I'm just going to gently give it a squeeze, give it another squeeze. And I see I got a little bit of a lip sticking up, so I'm just going to push down on that a little bit and then close. All right, and so then it looks like a bead. All right, so we got that part done. Let's go ahead and put Heather's pendant on. And so I put a jump ring on. Yes, really finishes it. Yeah, it does. The crimp covers definitely give, you know, it a finished look versus seeing the crimp. I also think it protects it more from, you know, catching on things. All right. So I want the pendant to hang in between, or I want it to hang in the middle, and the middle is these two darker ones that I put on. So I'm just going to go ahead and close that jump ring the same way I opened it with that twisting motion. Hi Elizabeth, thanks for joining. Yeah, if you join late, you can always catch the beginning of the video. It won't appear until the video is actually done, but you can catch it after we finish and it's loaded. All right, so I like it. This is cute. All right. You love the pendant, Elizabeth? Yeah. So because you're joining late, I'll tell you, this is, I'm not sure if you saw it in the post, but this is by Heather Powers. And we got some, and Heather's actually watching with us, so you can say hello. We got this new chain in that had these flowers on it, and I just thought it would tie in nicely together. So, all right, so I've got that part done. So now I want to try something different and add in some suede. So I'm going to move this stuff out of the way. And for anybody that joined late, the stones that I used are mookaite, which mookaite has all these different colors that came with it. And I just pulled out the mustard colored stones to tie in with the flower. And then the teal colored stones, because you all know how I like teal, are apatite. And I chose those to tie in with the teal on the back of the pendant. And then, of course, I'm using the copper chain. Okay. So I'm going to measure and see how long this is so far. And right now, it's 10 inches. I would say that I probably wouldn't want this necklace I would like it, you know, no longer than 20 at the most. But, you know, I want it to be long enough where you can see the suede in the back. And then, but not have it hang really low. Whoops, sorry, I just hit the camera. Okay, so this is the suede I'm going to use. And on camera, it's looking like a darker blue, but it really is a teal. It's just the lighting that is making it look a little bit different. So I'm going to cut, I know I need at least 10 inches more on the necklace. So I'm measuring 10 inches, and then I'm going to cut some extra because I need to fold over on each end. So, and I don't want to waste a lot. So I'm going to cut 5 more inches. Just got to find my scissors here. Okay. Just getting some of this stuff out of the way so I have a little bit of room. Okay. And then, now that I've got that cut, I'm going to cut it in half because I need one for each side. And I want them to be equal. So I'm just going to cut this again. All right. So what I'm thinking is that I would put the suede on through the ring like that, and then I want to wrap some wire around it to secure it, but I'm also going to cheat and put a little bit of glue. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now with each side just to get that part started. And again, I want to make sure my rings or my connectors are straight, and I'm going to loop in from the front because I want that folded part to be on the back. All right, and just going to grab a napkin and this little scrap piece of paper to put the glue on, and I'm going to use some E6000 glue, and we have that at the store if you need any of that. It's just, this works well. Elizabeth says, I love how you mix so many different elements. Oh, thanks. Christine, could you put a small rivet there too instead of wire? Absolutely. You totally could do that. Yeah, you can definitely, there's a lot of options. I personally don't have any experience with riveting. But that would be a great option. That would look good. All right, so this glue isn't open, so I'm just going to open it up. Hopefully I don't make a mess. Just going to put a little bit on that little piece of paper. And then I'm going to use a toothpick to apply it and spread it around. All right, so we'll do this part first. Okay, can you guys see all right? Am I in? Okay. I'm just going to take a little bit, and if it's stringy, if you pull away quick, that will break it. Okay. And I'm putting, a little bit more than what I would with a normal project, only because of the material. Some of it might absorb in the suede. Oh, really? Oh, okay, Christine. Yeah, I haven't done anything with that, but it is something that I would like to learn. Okay. And I'm just wiping any excess glue from the sides. I don't want the glue to transfer to the suede anywhere. All right. So I wonder, I might be able to use one of my little handy dandy clamps here. No, they're not quite big enough. Better not do that. All right. Well, hopefully this side will stay while I go ahead and glue the other side. So again, I want to make sure that the back part, the part that's going where the suede is cut, is on the back side of the chain, and it is. All right. And I also want to pay attention to how far up I folded the other piece. I could measure and adjust at the other end before we finish, but probably have a little bit too much on my toothpick that time. And I'm just spreading that glue around. Fold this over. And see if I have any glue coming out the sides. I do a little bit, so I'm just going to wipe that away with my finger. I don't want that visible or to get on anything else. All right. I'm just going to let that set a second. While that's happening, I'm going to get my wire. And the wire I'm going to use is 20 gauge antique copper wire. It's soft flex. So the color will go nicely with everything here. So I'll get some of that out. So I'm going to use I'm going to start with, let's see, the bead mat is about 1 foot. I think they're 12 inches, so I'm not sure if I'm going to need that much, but for the first one I'm going to cut that much just to make sure. And I'm using our nylon jaws wire straighteners. These are great for straightening wire, for straightening head pins. And then I'm going to cut with the flat side of the pliers towards my work, towards the part I'm keeping, so that I don't have, I want to cut nice and flush. And then I'm going to trim the other side to make sure that that side is flush. All right. Okay. So I'm going to cheat and put a little bend in my wire to get started. So I'm going to put it on my pliers and I'm just going to bend it over so that it stays, and I'm not trying to do that on the suede. And again, I want that part to be on the back. So let's see if this works, if I did it big enough. Yeah. Okay. And so then I'm just going to wrap it around. And I always like to do a messy wrap. Just because it covers any mistakes, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but you can line it up straight if you want. Mine is actually going pretty straight, But the problem is getting the other side to go straight as well. You just never know. All right, so I'm just wrapping it around using my fingers. If you're more comfortable using a tool, use a tool. And this is 20 gauge, so it's not too bad bending it with your fingers. If you were using, you know, if I was doing 18 gauge, I think I would have a harder time trying to do that. And if you have any gaps, you can always use your pliers to push them together. But I think I'm going to do a messy wrap just to be safe. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I don't have to worry about it. I've got plenty of extra wire here, so I can keep going. So I'm just trying to determine how far down I want to go, and then I'll go back up. All right, so now I'm going to go back up. Just covering up some of the spots where it's separated. So I say it's messy, but it's not super messy. It's not looking too bad. And then when you end, you want to make sure that your tail again is on the back side, just like when you started. All right. So I'm happy with that. And then I can trim this more later because the glue doesn't go all the way up to that part. So I'll trim that off. But for right now, I'm going to trim the wire. And so I'm going to grab my cutters. Again, I'm going to cut towards my work. And so now I've got that little piece. So I'm going to use my chain nose just to kind of push that down so that there's no sharp edge. And you can try to tuck it. Okay, so that's one side. See if we can repeat that so easily on the other side. Sometimes that doesn't always happen. You guys know what I'm talking about. All right, so I'm doing about another. Probably I don't need a foot, but straightening. And if you have these nylon jaws pliers, you know, as you use them, the nylon will get imprints, and you can order. That doesn't mean your pliers are bad. You can just replace the nylon, so don't throw them out. All right. Oh, I have something too I want to get you guys' opinion on. Tell me what you think. I'll wait till we're done though to ask you. Okay. All right, so I'm going to get this wire out of the way. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing with the flat nose pliers. I'm just going to make a kind of like a hook on it. I need to flush cut that end though. Okay, that's better. And then I'm just going to bend that around part way. Actually, I'm going to cut that off. It was up a little bit higher. I want it to be tighter, so I don't want to go up as far on the pliers. All right. So I got that little hook. While I'm doing this, do you guys have any thoughts for earrings? On how we would design the earrings using the materials we got? Let me know if you have any suggestions. Don't be shy. If you want me to do earrings, give me some thumbs up if you want me to do them on the video. Alright, so I want to start this way so that the hook is on the back side. My wire is twisting on me. Alright. I'm going to open it just a little bit. I did it a little bit too tight. I thought I was around the same area, but... And then I just want to compare, make sure I'm kind of starting in the same area. All right, so. See, this one's starting a little bit more difficult. Okay. It says I'd use the links with the flower loop and loop with one of my sunflower discs. Okay. Oops, I gotta straighten this. See, this is why I was suggesting going with the messy. Okay. And it is definitely not being as cooperative. I'm getting something that says low connection. Let me know if you guys are still seeing me okay. Alright, I'm going to try to fix this loop that's sticking out a little bit further. And then I'm going to wrap over it. Going back around. Okay, let's see how it looks compared to the other side. They are pretty close. So I'm just going to do around the end here. Another wrap. All right, I'm happy with that. Do it one more time. Okay, so now I'm going to cut that wire on the back side. All right, and then I'm just going to take my pliers, tuck that edge down. And so let's see if I need to trim. I'm going to trim just a little bit off this side. The other side I think I'm just going to leave alone because it's shorter. Alright, so it's straight. Okay. And now I want to measure to see how, if the suede is the same length. pretty good. Didn't do too bad. All right. And I'm just going to measure the length of the necklace right now. And I still have to add a toggle or a lobster. So right now it's 22.5 inches, but I do have to fold over the suede, and that's going to take up an inch. So I definitely need to trim this. So 22.5 minus an inch is 21.5 inches. And so I'm going to take off plus I got to add the toggle. I already deducted that. Oh, you're welcome, Heather. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. It's good to see you. I'll be posting a finished photo of the project in the group so that you'll be able to see that as well. All right, so I'm going to cut off an inch. Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Okay. And then oops, sorry, you guys can't see what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of lining them up side by side so that I can cut the suede the same length. Hard to do it around the camera. It's in my way. Okay. And these little short pieces I'm saving, you know, because I could use those on earrings. So if you have stuff like that that you're cutting, don't throw it away. Save it. All right. There's just a smidgen of a difference in the length, but I still have to fold them over to connect them. So that's okay. I can adjust after that. So now we can do one of two things. You guys tell me your thoughts. I can either do, let me open this up. I do with my other pliers. I'm going to take this link off. So I'm just opening the jump ring because I'm going to steal this link. So on the back side, I can use this same type of link and then connect the lobster or the toggle, or I could use one of these smaller twisted rings that doesn't take up or add as much space. I think I want to add the twisted ring so it doesn't take up as much space. Trying to decide here. What do you guys think? Any thoughts? I guess I'll do, I don't know. I like how the link, you know, it matches the front. So I can always make this part shorter. Elizabeth likes the twisted. Okay. I can do the twisted. And then it would be, actually, the twisted would tie in nicely with the toggle because the toggle's round. Or I can do a lobster clasp. Not the twisted. Okay. So let's start with this. You want a toggle or a lobster? Which do you think with this? Can you see the necklace to try to visualize? Tell me if you want, say, lobster or toggle. This is the toggle with the bar clasp, or a lobster. Once we know that, we can see which looks best with the closure. Toggle for sure. Yeah, toggle. Okay, I agree. The lobster looks too small for the rest of the work. Yes, scale is better. Perfect. All right, so we got that decision. Now, we need to determine if do the twisted or the other. Also have these bigger ones too. Can you see them? Hard to see them, but we'll just pretend. I'll just lay it towards the top so you can kind of see it. But material-wise and color-wise, this matches a little bit better. But let me zoom in a little bit and pull this down so you can see along with. All right, so now tell me oval or twisted for the ends. Oval or twisted, which looks better? Link with the toggle. Yeah, we're definitely going to use the toggle. And then I just need to know, I have to end the suede. So I have to use some sort of ring. Oval, oval. Okay. Oval it is. Thanks, you guys. Appreciate your feedback. It's always good to get others' opinions, right? All right, so that means, I'm going to measure these oval links, and I need one more. I agree, oval, as much as I love the twisted for most anything, right? I'm with you, Christine. I love the twisted look on the jump rings. But yeah, for this, I think definitely oval. It ties in better. Okay, so I'm going to guesstimate. So this is going to take up about close to 3 inches. Close to 3 inches, and I'm going to measure the necklace again. I don't want it more than 20. All right. So right now, it's at 20 1/4, but I still have to fold over the ends. So that's going to take up about, we said, an inch, ½ inch on each side. But then this is going to add close to 3 inches. So I need to get rid of 2 inches. So we got 20. And I'm just thinking this through. Always double check before you cut. So 20 1/4. So 20 inches minus 3, we'll say. We'll just keep it easy. 17 inches. Or, I mean, See, I'm doing it wrong. So 20 inches plus 3 for the toggle and the rings here. So that would be 23. But then we're going to drop off an inch because we're folding the suede over. So that would be 22. So I do need to lose 2 inches. So I'm going to cut an inch on each side. You guys nervous? I am. Oh. All right. Okay, here we go. Cut an inch. Okay. And then I'm just going to lay this next to it so that they're the same length. But if you were to make a mistake and cut too much of the suede, you could always add, you know, more length with the links. But I want the suede to show, so I don't want it to be, you know, too short in the back. All right, so I just want to see. Okay. All right, so I need my glue again, and my toothpick. And again, I'm using the E6000 glue, and I want to make sure I'm gluing on the back side. And I only want to use up about the same length as I did on the other part. So I can kind of use this one as a guide without getting glue on it. That would be like me to do that, you know. Okay, so grabbing the glue. I have a little bit too much on my toothpick. I'm going to add a little bit more. And I want to make sure I don't go up higher than the suede. Okay. Okay, so I'm just pinching that. Oh, see, I just stuck my finger in it. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to let that set, and then we're going to do this other side. Where's my link? Turn it over so I can get them as even as possible. Just a little bit longer. There we go. Fold this over. Wipe away any excess. Just going to let that set a minute, and while that's setting, I'm going to cut some more of my wire because we need to wrap the ends again. And then we'll add the toggle and we'll be done. I think because this one took longer with the planning and stuff, I'll do the earrings and post them later separately. I'll do those maybe tomorrow night. So I'm cutting a piece of wire flush side towards the piece of wire that I'm keeping. And then I'm going to cut a second piece. I can't believe the weekend's over with already. Has anybody seen my weekend? I seem to have lost it. Alright, so now I'm going to bend these over like I did on the other side. It just makes it easier trying to manage it when you're wrapping it around the suede. It definitely helped. So I just got it in my plier, and I just made a hook, and I'll do the same thing with the other piece of wire. And made a hook. Okay, so this was the piece I glued last, so I'm going to let that one set longer. And I just put the wire in the glue. So always good to remove the glue from your area. When you're done with it. See, you can learn what not to do from me so that you don't make the same mistake. Okay, I'm just removing the glue from the copper wire. There we go. All right, my glue's out of the way, so I'm safe. Okay, so I'm just gonna put that hook around the end here. And then I'm just gonna bend it over. And again, I'm gonna do a messy, kind of messy wrap, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Because I think it's just too hard to try to get them to look exactly the same. And then I'm just wrapping around. And then I'm going to come back around. This time I cut a little bit less wire, and I think I'm going to have just enough to tuck that over. I'm just gonna kind of tuck that in so it doesn't poke the skin. Okay, so there's one side. We're getting there. And then we'll do this side. Add the toggle and we'll have a finished necklace. Alright, so I already made my loop. And this is the back side, so I want that short piece on the back side. I'm just wrapping around with my fingers. Trying to line them up as best I can so that there isn't any gaps of teal that you see. Alright, and then so I want to keep track of how wide I'm doing it so that they're pretty similar. I'm just going to do one more and then I'm going to go back down. See, I want to push, there we go, push that end down a little bit. That's going to end right on the back side. Perfect. Okay, and then just give it a pinch. Tucked it in. Okay. All right. So now I just need a couple of jump rings. So I'm going to use, I have 18 gauge 6mm. And then we've got the toggle. Now, sometimes I'll double up my jump rings just for added security and to make it look visually a little bit heavier. And because we're using larger components here, I'm going to try to double the rings if I have enough room. On the toggle. Alright, so I think I need to add with the bar part of the toggle. If you get too if you're too close to the side of the necklace, it's harder to get the bar through the toggle. So I'm just going to add an extra link using the jump rings. I'll show you what I mean here in just a second. I'm adding them on in twos. And then I'm going to add, and this is just to create more space so that the toggle will go through the circle easier. If it's too close to your work, sometimes you'll struggle to get it through. So you just want to add a little bit of extra length. I should have connected it to the bar. And I just have to open this jump ring that I closed and connect it to the toggle bar. Alright, so there's that. And then I need 2 more of those jump rings. I don't need to do the same thing on the round side, just the bar side. And then connect the toggle. Just closing that. Adding 1 more. Hopefully I can get 2 through here. There. Okay. I think we have a finished necklace here. Alright, so I'm going to get some of these tools out of the way and slide some of this stuff out of the way so I can show you the necklace with all this, without all this other stuff in the background. And then I have a question about something that I want to know if you have an interest in learning how to do. So stay with me here. Okay. Get everything untwisted. Alright, can you see it all okay? What do you think? Oh, this is backwards. I gotta turn that. There we go. What do you think? You guys like it? That was fun. Give me some hearts if you like the necklace and you enjoyed the video. Yeah, I think it turned out good. I will, I'll take a better picture on a display. Oh, there's the hearts. People are liking it. Yay. Elizabeth says beautiful. Awesome. So I will take a picture of it on a display so that you can see how it hangs, and I'll post that in the group. And then I'll also come up with a design for a pair of earrings. I'm sure I will put the flower in somehow. I'm just not sure what I'm going to put with the flower when I do the earrings. But I'll do those and post those in the group. Okay, here's where I want your opinion on whether you like something, because if you like it, I will teach you how to do it. But I don't know if some of you know, I teach chainmail at the store. And I made this pendant, and if it's something that you guys like, I'm happy to maybe do it for one of the lives and show you how to make it. So I did it with 2 different size rings. So we could put a bead in the middle, and I did this with some copper rings. We have colored aluminum rings at the store, and I just thought it might be a fun project. And then we could make matching earrings, you know, because the copper is a little bit heavier than the aluminum rings, obviously. But if you did it with the aluminum rings, it would be lighter on the ears. So if this is something you would like to learn, just type yes in the comments and let me know. Just put yes, chainmail pendant or chainmail earrings, and I'll show you how to do it another time. We could even add some dangles. If we did the earrings in a lighter material, not the copper, we could do some dangles off the edges, which would be pretty. But we could make a pair of earrings. Elizabeth says, yes, please. Okay. But I thought it was fun. And so, and it's, you know, I think it would be totally fine for a beginner, even if you hadn't done any chainmail. So, but it might be a good starting point to get you interested in chainmail, or, you know, see if it's something that you would like to do. But, all right, I will plan that for a future project. Okay, so, well, thanks again for joining me, you guys. I really appreciate you being here and taking the time to join us and watch the video. If you're watching on the replay, be sure to say hello. Let me know you stopped by. And I hope you all have a great week, and I'll see you back next Sunday. Have a good night. Bye-bye.